This is the kind of music that challenges every songwriter to reevaluate everything they think and know about music. And it challenges every listener to expect and demand more from the songs and artists that they listen to. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me for another reaction video. Now, this one has been a long time coming. Ever since my last reaction to Ren, everybody has been asking me in the comments, in the tweets, DMs, even emails, to have a look at Money Game Part 3. And I've been assured that I don't need to check out Part 1 and Part 2 for this to make sense. It's obviously part of a bigger story, but I'm told that this in isolation is the one I need to look at first. So I'm trusting you guys, and I'm really looking forward to this. I have no context or information about this particular song, but I've done a few Ren reactions, and all I know is every time I listen to his music, I leave a changed man, a changed musician. And my brain thinks about music and composition and structure in a way it doesn't normally do. So I'm very much looking forward to this. Let's get stuck in and I'll stop yapping. Ren, Money Game, Part 3. Official music video. Let's see what you got. Very quickly before the music continues, I'm trying to pick my moments here. It's a long song and I want to spend more time listening than talking. But my channel's all about, where possible, educating on little small musical pieces to help you understand the things you love a little bit deeper and hopefully fall in love with them even more. And one thing that Ren does probably better than anybody I've heard is environmental and spatial effects. He has a remarkable way of bringing in things like wind and footsteps and all of these real world scenario sounds to make you feel like you're there. It's a level of authenticity that I think is missing from a lot of music. And I know that part of it is the music video, but that doesn't make it any less important or impactful. Even an instrument like a piano, and this sounds obvious to say to anybody who knows anything about the build and structure of instruments, but the use of the sustain pedal on that so delicately, it really does allow the room and the body of that instrument to become its own instrument, to give you an idea of how big the room is. Reverb, echo, sustain, all of these things allow you to perceive space in music. And he's very, very good at it.
Ooh. you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns that truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving ground.
Hang on. I'm in awe. Once again, when you find someone this special who so perfectly blurs the lines between music and art, and I know that music is supposed to be art, but I think a lot of people would agree that mainstream media, commercialization of packaging music into smaller pieces, because we just don't have the attention span anymore. When you find someone like him who's brave enough to drag it out because the story has to win. I always speak about melody winning, and that's obvious, but this is the kind of music that challenges every songwriter to reevaluate everything they think and know about music, especially theirs. And it challenges every listener to expect and demand more from the songs and artists that they listen to. And that, I think, is Ren's true gift. It is performance. If I went to a live show and saw even a fraction of this, it would be difficult to appreciate a lot of other live shows. He's single-handedly challenging the music industry to do better. And he's doing it independently. This is a story we know very well. I know people like this. And it's difficult. It's brilliant.
Growing kilos to tons, he's 33.
Go back a bit.
Maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket. 35. He gets the call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack. I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed up, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion. Heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck. Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Cut the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy. Community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Man, it's hard to say anything that has any kind of impact when you've just been blessed with that. I have been lucky enough to be surrounded with and by good people. My brothers, friends, smart people, far smarter than I will ever be. But it's one thing being able to speak well and have intellectual thoughts, to be able to vocalize them in a way that's important and impactful. And it's another thing entirely to take that ability and blend it with creativity, with art, with musicality, in a way that makes 9 minutes and 19 seconds feel like a moment. We must protect Ren at all costs. There is place for all kinds of music and all kinds of people who like all kinds of different things. And that's important to recognize too. The 3-minute, 12-second generic intro, verse, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, double chorus, outro, all that kind of stuff that radio has taught us to be familiar with, to accept and to deem normal and right often. There is a place for that, of course. Unfortunately, it's often tied up in money. And then there's this, and thank God for things like YouTube and for things like the internet, because had it not been for these self-managed platforms and devices, artists like Ren would be subject to having to compromise very heavily on their creativity and their story just to simply get it aired. And Ren doesn't strike me as the kind of person who wants to compromise on anything to do with his music. I can tell you that I know independent artists, and it is not an easy journey. Fundraising, keeping up with demand, knowing when to relax and give yourself time to breathe. You're your own boss in every sense of the word. And you have a team, and you're responsible for those people. So not only is it more work, but it's infinitely more pressure. And I know Ren's had his struggles with health. That on top of everything just speaks to what a fantastic, dedicated, driven, and never give up kind of person he is. And I haven't had the privilege of speaking to him, and maybe one day I will. Pardon me. And it would be an honor. That was amazing. If there's anything else that he's done, which I'm sure there is, that I need to take a look at, potentially part 1 and 2, remarkable. And I look forward to continuing my YouTube journey with moments like this that make me want to be better. Even something as simple as a reaction video. Even as something as difficult as active, trained listening, which is what I'm here to hero. I want to be better because of him. And that is something I'd like to tell him. Please let me know where to go next. If you have a recommendation, please leave a comment on this video. Please leave a link as well, so I make sure I look at the right version. I would hate to ruin it by picking the wrong song that comes up in a search. And if you are interested in having more conversations, seeing what else I've done, and maybe potentially joining a community of very like-minded, awesome people, I do have a Discord server, and that is going to be linked in the video description as well. Goodness me, Chase, use your words. Blown away. Until the next one, please be safe, be phenomenally nice to each other, and have a damn good day.